guys, my name's Ellie Lacey, and I am with Gage and Kaley Thompson, two of my friends. They're awesome. We've known each other for a long time now. They have a really cool relationship, so wanted to continue this conversation about dating and relationships and all that jazz and talk to them about it. So we're in the middle of an alleyway right now in downtown Fort Mill. You're probably going to hear some cars going past, but that's real life, you know, real life. So I wanted to start this out by asking them how they met. I already know, but I wanted them to tell you guys. So how did you guys meet?
How did we meet, Gage?
How did we meet? We met through mutual friends, would be the best way to put it. Essentially, I was working on staff at a church, and Kaley started an internship at that church, and it was like a great pursuit from there. So I really liked Kaley and did everything I could to win her over, and she was not about that life at all. And it took me many months to gain her trust, but eventually we became really good friends, and our relationship kind of built off of that. So, and then now we're married.
Here we are. We got set up too.
Set up
by our friends.
By our friends. So it was a community effort, I would
really
say.
Was.
You know, it took a whole community of people to make this magic happen.
Yep. Takes a community.
Yeah.
Takes a village. Fun fact, I was with them on their first date.
That's true.
We were talking about that a little while ago.
Yep.
So Kaley kind of had a sneak attack first date. She was kind of set up, and I just happened to be there, which is funny now looking back.
So funny.
But it was really awkward for you at the moment. So why don't you kind of briefly tell us about, one or both of you guys can kind of tell us what your dating life looked like before you met each other.
Enneagram lovers out there, I'm a 7 in like textbook, where all of my relationships had this like 3-month cap. Like I would like date people and it would be like, this is the best, this is so fun. And then as soon as any kind of argument or anything like that required feelings of me came up, I just ran. Like I was like fight or flight, and I just flight every time. And so I feel like I dated some really great guys. They were sweet, and most of them really loved Jesus and had great hearts, but I just could not handle like commitment in general. And so most of my relationships had some sort of like 3-month cap on them, and just kind of, I would let them like, they call it ghosting now. I'm glad there's like a word for it, but I would just like fade out.
Ghost.
Like I can't do this anymore, and just kind of disappear, because I didn't also want to break up with people, but I like didn't want to date them anymore. Yeah. So that's kind of how my dating life went so well.
Yeah.
I think she actually tried to ghost me.
I tried to ghost Gage.
And I was just persistent.
let me.
I was persistent. I didn't give up. So guys, don't give up.
Don't
Keep
give
chasing.
up. Yeah.
Unless it gets weird, then give
Then
up.
stop.
Then stop.
You're
Don't
just a stalker,
stalk people.
So,
And don't stalk people at all.
Don't be creepy.
For me, really quick, that question, there's a lot of different layers to that question. And what I mean by that is when I look back at the history of my dating career or life, the way I dated or how I dated changed season to season. And so what I mean by that is, like, when I was in high school, the things that I looked for out of a relationship were completely different than the things that I looked for when I was in college when it comes to relationships. And then out of college, my priorities shifted again. And but one thing that I can say about my dating like career or my dating experience before I met Kaley is I was pretty in tune or intentional about every opportunity or every experience that I had when it comes to a relationship, friends or a dating relationship, to make sure I would learn the things that I did love about that person and the qualities and the characteristics that I did want in my future wife.
Yeah.
And the same is true with the things that I didn't want in my future, wife as well. And so it was really cool. I actually created a list of like all the things and qualities and characteristics through my dating experience. I just kept that running list, and some of them were things that like I couldn't live without, and then some of them were like just little things that were not a make or break quality or characteristics, like eye color or something like that. But I think it really helped me when I did meet Kaley to instantly know like she has everything that I do want out of a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, to figure out what those non-negotiables were. Yeah, that's really great. So I want to ask you guys a question as a now married couple.
Uh-oh.
What do you think about online dating? Because you probably have some friends that are trying that now.
Yep.
And from an outsider's perspective, what do you think about it? Like, what do you think is good about it? What do you think is bad about it?
I think what's good about it is like the way we form a lot of our connections now is online. So I think like if we're gonna kind of keep up with modern society, we have to start to kind of buy into this concept, whether or not it's like we're a little like I think we should go into it, I guess, a little afraid and like a little excited at the same time. Like yes, you should totally be like, this might be a little sketchy, but you also could be like, this could be the time. Like, this could be my future spouse. So I am all for it within the context of like you being smart and having boundaries and not dating people with like, you know, sketchy profiles.
Sketchy profiles.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is a hard question because, and I'm kind of hesitant about answering because I don't personally have like enough experience on it, you know. So I can't really give a really good opinion just because, like I said, I don't have enough experience in it. But I do see the benefits of like meeting and connecting with people online first, or even like the start of a conversation. And so whether that's like, you know, DMing back and forth, like kind of to at
Slide
least
into those DMs.
Yeah, slide into the DMs. But I mean, really, at least it's kind of like texting first. You know, it's like you're getting to know that there's at least a basic foundation that is now worth like you investing more time or more energy or even more money, honestly, to actually take them on a date and to pursue them more. I think where it gets dangerous or tricky is when it becomes a false reality for you. And so whenever you are turning or leaning on dating to fulfill like a need or to fulfill something that is like a false reality of what you want, I think that's where it gets dangerous. And so for me, all of that to say, my answer would be, I think it's great and it's a good opportunity as a on-ramp for actually building a real relationship.
Yeah, I don't think the whole relationship should ever exist online.
No.
Like, I'm all for it being like, especially like if like I had a friend that I was like, Ellie, I want you to meet this friend of mine. Like, I'm totally down for like that to start there. But like, it's like a bad factor when like the whole relationship exists there. That's like when it gets a little.
Totally, because people are very different in real life than they are online.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so just have street smarts about it.
Yeah,
basically. Just be smart
Be
about
wise.
it.
Yeah.
So what is one piece of dating advice that you would give to anybody? What's kind of your generic statement when your friends are coming to you asking for advice? What do you tell them about dating?
So I'll go first because this sounds so simple and so, I don't know, cliche, but for me it's probably the most valuable piece of advice I could give anybody, and that's to truly be yourself. And I've done it in my past dating relationships, and I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people, whether that's students that I get to hang out with or friends that are my age, change who they are or justify a little bit about who they are to like conform or to like be accepted by a certain group of people or a certain relationship. And though that is fun and it is successful for a short season, it will eventually like come out, you know, and you'll eventually not be happy. So it's you can only fake something for so long. And so that would be my I guess biggest piece of advice or most valuable piece of advice is to truly be yourself. And if the person that you're into or the person that you're dating can't accept you for that, flaws right alongside, you know, your good qualities, then they're not worth your time because it's not going to work out, you know, in the future. So.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think mine would always be to make sure you're being a good steward of the other person's heart. Like, until you're actually in a marriage relationship, that person technically could belong to someone else. And so you got to understand that in every relationship, like, the question shouldn't be like, are we having fun? Like, how great is this? Like, because really, it's not even about you until you're married. And so you kind of have to look at every dating relationship and go, like, how can I best steward this person so that I am, like, treasuring who God made them to be, making them a better person, letting them do the same for me, but also realizing that, like, especially if you're, like, not thinking about marriage right now, like, am I like stewarding this person's heart well enough that if we walked away from this, they would honestly say, I'm a better person because I dated you. You know, I think we have to just be careful that we're not abusing a relationship in the sense of like, not literal abuse, but like taking something from someone else that doesn't actually belong to you.
Like filling a void or filling a need, using somebody for that. So what is one piece of marriage advice that you would go back and give somebody now, like that was about to get married? What's something that you would say to them?
You want to go first?
You can go ahead. I guess.
I I think this is so cliche. I think everybody says this, but communicate about literally everything. I mean, because what happens, I think, in marriage, and we found this out pretty quick, is that you move in together. We didn't live together at all before we got married, and so you move in together, and you start to just think that like the other person knows because they see you all the time now, but they don't. And I like all the time want Gage to just read my mind. Like, can you clearly not tell that I like need you to do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
And like, no, like you need to communicate. You need to tell each other that. Whether that's like, hey, I really need to go on an actual date with you, and not just like sit on our couch and watch a movie. Because there's a difference. Like it doesn't feel different when you're dating, but when you get married, there's like a difference. Or, you know, that like how you feel about anything, something going on in the house. You have in-laws now. I mean, there's just like all of these layers that go into something, and you're all of a sudden a family with this person that you've never been a family with before. And so talk about even if you think it's dumb, like it's better to over communicate than under communicate. So just talk your little heart out.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, communication is definitely key. One thing that we try to remind each other all the time, especially like early on when we were married, when we would have disagreements or maybe we would be on the same page about something, is we would remind each other that we're on the same team. And so it's not me versus you, it's not you versus me. Let's take that side out and go ahead and like clear the air that we are on the same team and we do want what's best for each other and for our relationship.
Yeah.
But there is an issue on the table that we have to tackle, and there is something that we need to discuss. And so that's been a really big help for us in our relationship, is just reminding each other that we're on the same team.
Yeah.
But I think the second piece, if I can give two pieces of advice,
Go for it. You're not alone.
would be, and it goes right into that communication is key thing, is asking your spouse what do they actually need from you in that season, because you're not a mind reader. And so there's been many times in our relationship where I think I'm giving Kaley what she needs in that season. So like, for instance, I might come home from work and I think she needs me to do dishes and help out around the house. So I do that. And then later on that night, she's upset or grumpy or, you know, something like that. Sassy.
That's what she's really wanting to say.
She's sassy. And because I didn't communicate, because I didn't ask, I thought I was meeting a need in her, when really all she needed for me to do that day was take out Alina and let her go take a bath by herself.
Their daughter. Yeah.
That's our daughter, by the way.
Just in case.
And so all that to say, it goes right into that communication is key, but being open about what your needs are, and being intentional about asking the other person what their needs are, because they do change season to season. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks for that bonus advice. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening in to Gage and Kaley and the cars that are in the background.
That's right.
And the
hope
people
you got
walking
something
by.
awesome out of it. Thanks so much for dropping some truth wisdom bombs on us. Really appreciate it.
That was hush.
Hope you guys have a great day.